Hey, Quadros, what's going on, guys? Well, welcome back to the channel. I've had so many people asking me about the Tunisian tanks, how to engage the Tunisian tanks, where to shoot them, how to kill them. The AB-41 keeps killing me, the A-13 keeps killing me, I don't know how to fight them, so on and so forth, and I am here to help, guys. We finally do have the vehicles in the practice range, so I can show off exactly where to shoot them in a little bit more of a tested and closed environment. And so we're going to be starting off here with the Allied tanks, the A-13, against the AB-41, the armored car. And before we start, guys, I do just want to say, like, these damage models are really, really janky. Sometimes you'll end up shooting these things directly in the ammo rack and it will do nothing, and then other times you shoot it one time and it kills it instantly. So that's part of the reason why the AB-41 is so successful right now, is just because since they have the autocannon, they just get to unload so many times on you, and you know, after so many shots, you know, one of them is bound to do something relevant. While the A-13 and the Daimler, whatever it is, it has less shots, right? It doesn't shoot as fast, so therefore it sometimes you just get screwed just on pure DPS. But anyway, how to kill this thing is just at this lamp here. You just fire into this lamp, see the headlight, whatever it is, and then you should be able to get the ammo rack in just a couple shots. Can be hard at range. Make sure you're not firing too far above it. If you fire too far above it, you're going to end up missing. But that's the basic idea there. Now, if you're coming up on this thing on the side, because a lot of them do like to engage infantry, you know, it's just right above that tire there. That front tire is where the ammo rack is located. See, I fired a little too forward there, so a little bit more like here. See, again, I'm going right through the ammo rack. It's just not doing anything. A lot of times it takes at least 2 shots for no reason at all. It's, again, it just feels like they're rolling a dice in the background saying, oh, does it pin? Yes. You know, like, oh, that went a little. See, sometimes you just get screwed. Who knows? See, like, that hit the ammo rack. I don't know why that doesn't blow it up. You know, if we're solid shell, and it's, you know, because that's what this is, it's just solid shell AP rounds, right? You would think that if you direct hit it, it would kill it, but it just doesn't. You can see, maybe I should be aiming a little bit lower, I guess, but there we go, like 6 shots later. So that's really the reason why the AB-41 is so successful right now in Tunisia, is just because since it has that autocannon that reloads so quickly, it doesn't have to worry as much about it. It can just kind of spray at you until you are inevitably dead, because it just fires. Its DPS is so much higher that it rolls those dice in the background so much more often for getting the ammo racks or for killing the crew and things like that. So overall, now you guys at least know where to shoot it. And hopefully, you know, you guys will be lucky enough to get some good pins and not have to, you know, roll a million times to get the kills. But without anything else on this one, guys, let's move on to the next vehicle, which is the Italian tank. So against this tank, it's the M13 or M14, I don't remember. It's the Italian tank you'll knock at level 7. It is a real tank. And against this tank, if you're in the A-13 or the Daimler, you are outgunned for the most part. They've got better armor. They have APHE, so they will do more damage per shot. It is rough stuff overall. So there's a couple things that you can do. So number one, there is a tiny little sliver here on the turret that is flat and you are able to hit. And you can see it will actually go straight through. If you look in the top right, you can see it actually does hit the ammo. And that should go through the commander or the gunner's head. I honestly do not remember which one, but you can do the same thing on the other side. I think the gunner's on the left. Yeah, the gunner's on the left here. So you probably want to put your shot in right here first and just kind of keep shooting. Yeah, you want to do the left because you still hit the ammo on the left. But yeah, you can see you actually are hitting the ammo back there, and with enough shots, you might be able to actually get a lucky ammo rack and blow them up. Otherwise, just shooting through right here isn't going to do anything. Like, you know, even if you pin, you're probably not going to hit anything that's actually relevant. Maybe you might take out some of the crew. You could get lucky. You can put a shot right down here, guys, to knock out the transmission and totally just destroy its transmission, force them to bail out. It's not actually something that is going to destroy the tank, but it's something that could at least make you or make the tank crew have to jump out at some point. But they are obviously turreted and will be able to just run around you and, you know, or still be able to follow you if you try to flank around them. But yeah, the ammo is mostly located in the turret, in the back of the turret, kind of like the T-26 if you guys have played Moscow. So if you are able to flank around, that's where you want to be aiming. But I personally just tried to put my shots here and hopefully take the tank out with an ammo rack. There you go. It takes forever. You're probably going to go through the enemy gunners. M1441, that's what it's called. You're probably going to go through the enemy tank's entire crew before you get that ammo rack, but if you keep shooting there, you're going to be taking out the gunner, hopefully, and you'll be able to just prevent the tank from doing very much to you, regardless. Now let's move on to that butte over there. The I don't remember what it's called. It's the tank destroyer. All right, so this big old thing. The most important thing you guys need to realize here is that this thing does not have a turret. It is, you know, an SPG. It only shoots forward. It's got a little bit of room to maneuver there, but it is not great. And so what I recommend you guys do is just blast this a couple times before it knows you're there. If you're already frontally engaged with it, you are in a bad spot. But now that it is, you know, now that its transmission is down, ideally you hit this from the left and you don't have to cross in front of it. But even if you do, you can zoom past pretty fast. And then once you're past it, you just come right over here, and the ammo is located right around down here, I believe. Yeah, the ammo is right there, so you just kind of keep shooting that until it blows up, just like that. Now, if you do get stuck in a head-on engagement with it, like this one right here, let's say, you know, you're just rolling down the street and it starts shooting you, again, you're in a very bad position, but the best that you can do is just try to fire right here, knock out that gunner as best you can. It is a very small crew. It's a crew of only 3, I believe, 3 or 4. I'm almost positive it's 3. So just unloading and taking out these gunners that pop up right there, or if you're feeling really lucky, you can put a shot right into the barrel and try to knock out the barrel with a couple shots. Hopefully you can. You know, the barrel shots in this game are really, really funky, and they don't like going off a lot of the time. I don't even know if this thing has a destroyed barrel model. Now it's black, so I think it's knocked out. I don't know. It doesn't have a different model for the knocked out tank the way other ones do. But regardless, I think the best way to engage this thing is really just to knock out the transmission down here, or even knock out the tracks, and then that way it won't be able to turn. And once it can't turn, it can't hit you, and the crew is forced to either bail out, at which point you gun them down, or they're forced to really just sit there while you shoot them in the side, or just pick off their crew, or you know, whatever you're feeling like doing. But yeah, don't try to fight this thing just like head on most of the time. Your best option in the 813 is to just knock out the transmission or something like that, and then move around them. But that's all of these tanks, guys. Let's move over to the Axis side and talk about how to engage the Axis tanks. Or excuse me, engage the Allied tanks. Starting off here with the A13 with the AB41. Your best bet, and again, the AB41 is kind of a weird tank here because it has pretty low pin just overall, but you are able to pin the flat part of the turret here, and if you just unload like that, you're going to be knocking out whichever crew is in the vehicle, right? Like, you're just going to absolutely blast through, and you're just going to nuke the crew. And then once the crew is just like, you know, start switching seats and they're all back alive, you can just sit here and keep doing this, and the crew will just continuously die. And once they're down to just their driver, then, you know, if the gun starts moving, blast that same spot, you'll kill the tank. Otherwise, you just don't have to worry about the tank because it's only got 1 crew left. If you really want to, you can technically fire here, and the ammo is located right behind this. Although this doesn't knock out the crew, and like you saw there, took me a good 12 or 13 shots to actually deal with that and to actually kill it. And during that time, they could just be shooting you, and if you get an unlucky ammo rack, then you are pretty screwed in that regard. So I recommend just taking out the crew, blasting the crew as much as possible, right on that flat part of the turret. Now, moving on to the Dalmer here. I think I said Dalmer, I meant Dimer. Dimer, I think is how it's pronounced. Either way, again, it's kind of like the A13 here, where, you know, there's like not a lot of spots you can really pin. You can technically pin right there, and take out his breach, but I think that might just be because I'm so close. But you've got an auto cannon that can pin it, and he's got a normal cannon. So honestly, guys, all you really need to do is spray. You just need to unload on this guy. Like, yeah, you can shoot the ammo racks if you really want to here. Like, if you want to fire down here and you want to knock out the ammo racks, you can do that, and that's fine. But to be honest with you guys, with the autocannon, you really just want to be spraying. You just want to be blasting anywhere you can pin, anywhere you can take out the crew, and you'll be fine. Like, these things are armored cars with 40mm cannons on them. Like, if you just spray into them, you will kill them. You will take them out, and you'll kill the crew. And if the crew is dead, the vehicle is basically just totally screwed anyway. You know, if you come up on the side, that's going to wipe out most of the crew, honestly. Like, and then you can go for the ammo rack that's a little bit more, like, down here. Yeah, I'm technically hitting it there. I'm a little high. But yeah, I mean, you just want to unload on the crew with this autocannon. If you just take out the crew, you will be in good shape. As you can see, it's just it's so hard to actually knock out the ammo at range, especially. So go for the crew with the AB-41, guys, and then we're gonna move on to the Grant. First things first, if you're in an AB-41, don't fight the Grant. Run away. Just literally just run away. You can't even pin it on the side. There is nothing you can do. This is a real tank. I don't even think you can pin it's the rear, maybe the flat part. If you're like 90, you're at a perfect angle. No. Nope. Don't fight this thing. Run away. The best you can do is maybe unload on its tracks. And if you can get its tracks out, just blasting his tracks, then maybe you'll be able to do something. But I mean, all you're gonna do is force the guy to get out of the tank, right? Like, if you it's not worth it. Run away. So we're gonna swap to oh, I didn't know you could do that. That's pretty cool. We're gonna swap to the other Axis tank to show off how to fight the Grant. So the Grant, you do not want to engage this thing head on unless you are in the tank destroyer, in which case just shoot it in the front plate and you'll go through and be able to knock out a lot of the crew. If you are in the AB-41, like I said, do not engage it, run away. And if you were in the tank, the M1441, whatever the hell it's called, then most of the time you do not want to engage it from the front. I will show you how to fight it from the front if you do get put in that bad spot. But most of the time, the nice thing about the Grant is this big cannon does not have a turret on it. So most people are going to be moving, facing the infantry, and be very easy to flank out, just because, again, they're going to be shooting infantry with their 75, and it doesn't have a turret, so they're going to be facing their tank in a bunch of wonky, weird directions, which lets you just fire right into the side of it here, wherever you can, knock out a bunch of the crew, or you can fire right here, and this should knock out the ammo after just a few shots. So again, just fire right about here, and you'll knock out the ammo. Like I said, guys, the damage models are so weird right now that they don't always take it out. But just to the left of this hatch is where the ammo rack is located on the left side of the tank. On the right side of the tank, it is located right there where I'm kind of aiming. It's basically right below the hatch. So keep in mind, wherever you're aiming at, which if you're aiming at the left side or the right side, it will change where that ammo rack is located. But either way, if you're on the side of the tank, just lay rounds into this into it, and you'll knock out a lot of the crew, and the tank will basically be completely screwed. And most players tend to jump out as soon as they start getting shot a bunch and start losing a bunch of crew members. So not really a big deal overall. Anyway, now if you are put in the unlucky situation of having to attack this thing head on, first off, you're probably going to lose just outright. This is just not a tank you want to be fighting head on. This is a real tank. Even though it is absolutely disgusting and a complete abomination of a vehicle. I mean, look at this stupid thing. I mean, come on. But you are able to pin it in a couple key spots, mostly in these driver hatches. So right here, you can put around right through there, probably knock out a decent part of the crew, knock out the horizontal turret drive. Really, this is hard as hell to do at range. But hey, if you get a lucky shot, then great. If you're at range, your best bet is just to run away. And get behind some buildings and things like that. But again, if you're stuck in a bad spot, you can put rounds right here, get through, knock out a lot of this big turret. But this is not your problem. So most of the time, what I like to do and what I would do is I would try to get around right there. And then once you've gotten around there, try to get around into right about here. Try to get through this ammo area here. Again, it was green, but didn't really go through. You've got a couple spots that are just hard as hell to hit. Because there's not really any clear indication, but you can get through and you can knock out the gunner of the 75. and maybe even get a nice breach shot. But really, there's no way of ammo racking this thing from the front. You're just going to have to go for the crew. You can see everything here is just totally red. There's not really any way through except on the driver hatch here. But you do have APHE, which will do great splash damage behind the scenes once it gets through. But there is technically an ammo rack shot. It's like right down here. Yeah, technically, you can see right there, I'm yellowing it. It just does not do that much ammo. It really, really doesn't. But technically, if you are able to get enough shots here, this is like the most last-ditch effort ever to hopefully maybe kind of sort of get a kill. Like, you can see, it's just not doing anything. You're probably better off knocking out the transmission down here and then flanking around. Or maybe, like, detracking it. Like, put around through the track and then go around it. Something like that. But yeah, overall, guys, if you engage this thing from the front, try to just get a shot here and then maneuver your way around. But truth be told, you're probably dead. This is just not a tank you want to fight from the front. That is it for me, though, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on tanking in Tunisia. You know, what have you guys had problems with? What are your guys' issues with the campaign and the vehicles in general? Do you think the damage models are really screwed up, or are they fine? Am I just crazy? You know, so on and so forth. Remember, guys, you can also follow me at twitch.tv/HeyQuadro. I'd love to have you guys over there hanging out in the community. And you can also join our community Discord. The link for that is down in the description below. And without anything else, guys, once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.